We are also following developing news in Ogden this morning where one man is dead and another is in the hospital after a shooting.
It happened Sunday morning, corner of Madison Avenue, just off 30th Street. News specialist Shelby Lofton has the very latest on this.
Police had this area blocked off for hours on Sunday. The department had its major crimes bureau out here looking for evidence, searching for that suspect on the loose. And around 8 last night, we found out that police had that person in custody.
There was just tape all over the place and a lot of police officers.
Sunday morning plans were disrupted by commotion near Sullivan Hollow Park.
I was out having breakfast with my mom, and then I came home and I seen them.
Police cars lined Esmeralda Marquez's street. Ogden police said there was a shooting between 2 cars near her home.
And I tried looking through my camera, and then I seen it at 10:44. I heard the gunshots.
6 gunshots are clearly heard in broad daylight.
I didn't know what to think. I'm like, what's going on?
Then the revving of an engine.
It's crazy because my kids are always playing outside, and I was glad they were not outside. They were sleeping because it could have been worse.
Police say one of the men shot took himself to the hospital. They said he's in critical condition. Marquez's family said they saw officials taking away the body of a second man. Police confirmed he was found dead on the scene.
Now I'm scared. I got to take care more of my kids and not let them wonder because it's scary.
Police said one person is in custody.
It's more scary. I got to be more careful with my children.
Now, Ogden police told us over the phone that they're still investigating how and if these victims and the suspect are related. They said right now there is no danger to the public. Shelby Lofton, KSL-5 News.
Well, we're learning more about what crews were up against in a Cottonwood Heights
in the nation.
Well, looking out for the good this Monday morning, this Veterans Day was very special for a Utah service member living at the William E. Christofferson Veterans Home. You'll remember we told you about this Friday. 102-year-old Noma Care was honored on the field at Lavelle Edwards Stadium Saturday during the coin flip. Noma joined the Women's Army Corps in 1942, attaining the rank of first lieutenant and taking charge of a recruiting station. All these years later, she still remembers the moment she learned the war was over.
Well, I just stood there and cried. I thought, now we can get our lives together. We can live a normal life.
Now, Noma graduated from the U, but she's come to love Cougar football. Her late husband was a former general manager here at KSL, and at one point was tasked with finding sponsors to expand BYU programs. Now, she says that she has high hopes for next season, telling us that she expects the Cougars to win the conference. So they may be going through the slump, but hey, future's looking bright, according to Noma. Great insight from her.
Oh, man.
And a great service and sacrifice as well.
Absolutely.
We love the beautiful stories of these vets over the weekend. So again, if you celebrated, happy Veterans Day, we celebrate them every day.
Yes, thank you for your service out there.
Oh, man. All right. Hey, let's take a look at...
Thank you for that update this morning.
Developing right now in Ogden, a suspect is in custody after police say one man was killed, another hurt after a shooting there. Happened Sunday morning when residents said they heard 6 gunshots. There you go. That was the Ring doorbell camera. This apparently was kind of a shootout between 2 cars. Police say one of the men shot, drove himself to the hospital. He's in critical condition. The other man died at the scene. People in the area say it just left him a bit shaken up.
It's crazy because my kids are always playing outside, and I was glad they were not outside. They were sleeping because it could have been worse.
Police say they don't believe there is any threat to the public right now, and they are continuing their investigation into what happened.
Today kicks off a Crash Responder Safety Week. Thank you.
All right, Kara, a lot more to uncover there. Developing in Ogden right now, a suspect is in custody. Police say one man was killed, another hurt after a shooting. Happened Sunday morning when people said that they heard, those 6 shots right there you hear from that Ring doorbell camera. That was between 2 cars. Police say one of the men who was shot took himself to the hospital. He's in critical condition. The other man died at the scene. People in that area say it really left them shaken up.
It's crazy because my kids are always playing outside, and I was glad they were not outside. They were sleeping because it could have been worse.
Police say they don't believe there is any threat to the public right now, and they are continuing their investigation.
Today kicks off Crash Responder Safety Week. I'm Lindsay Ayers.
Yeah, Mason, how long he served in the church and just how much good he did in that service. Lindsay, thank you.
As a member of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles, President Ballard emphasized using the full name, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. He also urged the use of images of Jesus Christ. Religion specialist Carol Makita joins us in studio with that story. Carol.
Debbie, in 2021, I spoke with President Ballard about sacred art, which he described as anything that depicts the love of God for his children in a beautiful way. During the pandemic in May of 2020, the First Presidency asked church leaders and facilities managers to place artwork of Jesus Christ in the foyers and main entrances of the faith's buildings throughout the world so that Latter-day Saints and visitors will immediately recognize that sacred image. The inspiration to do that came from President Ballard.
I came to realize that we were not doing that one Sunday when I went to 3 different chapels. And in the foyers, he was not there. He was down the hall. And it dawned on me, this is his church. And the first thing people ought to see when they walk into a foyer of the Church of Jesus Christ ought to be some wonderful work of art that depicts his life and his ministry.
Now, this painting of Greg Olson's was one of President Ballard's favorites. His beloved wife, Barbara, gave it to him with all her love, Christmas of 1995. So, Debbie and Mike, I think the artwork in the foyers and entryways of all churches is a beautiful part of President Ballard's legacy.
And I appreciate that. That's beautiful what you just wrote there and what we were able to see from that interview. We were talking a little bit off camera earlier this afternoon in the newsroom, and you talked about his passing. You knew when he passed eventually, this would be tough for you individually. How come?
I spent an awful lot of time interviewing President Ballard and being with him in different places around the world and realizing that this man has a tie not only to the history of the church, because he's the great-great-grandson of Hiram Smith, Joseph Smith's brother. So there is that historic tie there. But he was part of the historic moments in the church. Most recently when we were with President Nelson and President Ballard in Rome, and the two of them visited with Pope Francis at the Vatican. So, you know, there are those highlight moments that he was a part of as well. And it just hit me today. You know, I've been honored and happy to have been in his presence, and he granted me so many interviews. He was deeply regular. He thought of himself as an ordinary guy, and even though many of us realize that as church leader, any church leader, you're not ordinary, but he wished to be known that way, and he wished to reach out to as many people as possible. I would say, how are you? And he would say, well, my eyesight's not great, my balance isn't great, and then he'd get serious and said, but we have so much work to do. We need to help people. So I'm going to go wherever in the world President Nelson needs me to go.
Wow, that is incredible. Well, thank you so much. We'll have more from Carol coming up in our next couple of hours. Thanks, Carol.
Absolutely.
Well, heads up for folks in Heber City. You're
watching KSL News at 4.
Welcome back. We continue our coverage tonight with the passing of President M. Russell Ballard of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Members of the church sharing their love and appreciation for the apostle. News specialist Kara Bracken shares more from Temple Square.
We've spoken with church members today who describe President Ballard as leading a life of legacy. Those we're hearing from are focusing on his long life of service. Cheryl Gerstner is one of those speaking highly of President Ballard, noting he has impacted her life positively. She says he's been there her entire lifetime, and she's thankful for it.
And I love Joseph Smith and the restoration, and so he kept bearing witness, and that really made a mark on me. He's going to be missed, because he is kind of a gentle type of man, and I do appreciate his character for that.
Those we spoke with, they say they remember vividly President Ballard speaking at the last General Conference, and they will miss him a lot moving forward. For now, they're reporting. I'm Kara Bracken for KSL 5 News.
Kara, thank you. And as she mentioned there, President Ballard hasn't been set yet. New at 5, Ogden police have named the suspect in Sunday's deadly shooting. They arrested 19-year-old Ricardo Caballar. He's accused of shooting and killing another man during a fight on Sunday morning along 30th Street. Caballar also allegedly shot his own brother accidentally while confronting another man. He's been charged with aggravated murder and 2 counts of discharging a firearm inside city limits.
Well,
New at 6, Standing Against Hate. A Draper family speaking out after repeated attacks on their pride flags. Plus, bridging the language barrier.
For the very last time.
Plus, one family fed up after being the continued target of vandalism over their pride flag. The twist that they don't even fly it in their front yard. That story and the search for the culprit, that is coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
Finally today, firefighters all...
Just a little bit. The details on all that straight ahead.
In the last 18 months, we've had our pride flag stolen five different times.
Frustration is boiling over for a Draper couple after thieves strike again at their home.
In a story you will only see on KSL, they told news specialist Shelby Lofton about this last incident that's left them feeling terrified and violated as well. Shelby?
Mike, from this neighborhood park where I'm standing right now, usually you can see this family's pride flag flying in the distance, but that is not the case tonight. This couple I spoke to said that their flag was stolen once again this past Saturday, but they said it's happened before. Usually they find the flag or pieces of it scattered around the park, but this last time has really left them rattled.
We're a normal family just like anyone else.
This is a typical snapshot of 4-year-old Rue and Ridge's life. Pictures of them playing with their parents are featured on the family's Instagram page, Growing Up with Dads.
We didn't have anyone in our community to look up to, so we created this page.
Jeff Wright says it's important he and his husband share their life.
You can have a family, you can be gay, and you can simply be happy.
It's the same reason why they fly a pride flag.
Maybe there's a kid there that is struggling and sees it and thinks, you know, somebody out there sees who I am and loves me for who I am.
Their twins are no longer playing underneath the flag's shadow.
Our pole was completely destroyed and lights were broken and cameras were stolen.
Bryce Oplenop says it's the 5th time their flag was stolen.
At first it was frustrating and annoying, and then it kind of becomes violating. You know, it's in our yard when we're asleep.
This time, their flagpole was bent, cameras stolen, lights shattered, and the flag torn off. The couple said they understand why police can only do so much.
I get it's a low-level crime and it's, you know, things happen, nobody got hurt. It's just but it's just frustrating that it feels like maybe there's nothing you can do.
The dad said they're not sure if they'll replace the flag again.
When I was taking Ridge up to bed, it's like 2 nights ago after the flag got stolen, he said, Dad, are we gonna make sure the flag is safe and make sure we're safe too? And like, that's hard to hear coming from a 4-year-old.
They're focusing on the future of their children's lives.
It's really hard to have those conversations with your kids about, you know, why people want to come into our yard and steal our flag.
And the couple told me they've had a lot of suggestions come in on how to keep these vandals away. They said some suggested they actually electrify the flagpole, but they said they won't do that. They have kids and pets in the backyard. And also, they don't want anyone to get hurt over the flag. They just want to be able to fly it as a symbol of hope and love. I'll send it back to you, Deanie.
You can see why they're frustrated. Shelby, thank you. We have an update tonight from St. George.